College football has a funny way of reinventing itself when nobody expects it, and the 2026 Big Ten schedule just delivered one of the most shocking reminders of that reality. When fans first saw Ohio State vs. Indiana circled on the calendar for October 17, it didn't look like a rivalry game at all, at least not in the traditional sense. For decades, this matchup was treated as a formality. Ohio State showed up, handled business, and moved on. But now, everything has changed. This isn't a tune-up game anymore. This is a collision of champions, a clash that symbolizes how fast power can shift in modern college football, and suddenly, Ohio State vs. Indiana has become one of the hottest tickets in the entire sport. Just a few years ago, the idea of Indiana being a national powerhouse would have sounded like a joke, but after their stunning championship run, the Hoosiers are no longer a feel-good story, they are a legitimate force. And that's exactly why this game has taken on a life of its own. For the first time ever, this matchup carries real playoff weight, real national attention, and real tension. Two programs that now share something incredibly rare, a recent national title. That alone changes everything. This isn't just another Big Ten game, it's a measuring stick for the entire conference and maybe even the country. What makes this matchup even more fascinating is the timing. Mid-October is that perfect moment in the season when teams have just enough games to find their identity, but not enough room to recover from a major loss. By October 17, both Ohio State and Indiana will know exactly who they are. The Buckeyes will have their new pieces settled, their depth tested, and their championship expectations firmly in place. Indiana, meanwhile, will be proving that last season wasn't a one-year miracle. They'll be showing the country that they belong in the same conversation as the Blue Bloods. And make no mistake, this game could easily be a top 5 showdown if both teams handle business early. The storylines alone are enough to sell out the stadium months in advance. On one side, you have Ohio State, a program built on dominance, expectations, and relentless pressure. On the other, you have Indiana, a program that rewrote its own history in one unforgettable season and now has to defend its new status as a powerhouse. This game is about more than wins and losses, it's about respect. For years, Indiana played in Ohio State's shadow. Now, the Buckeyes are walking into Bloomington knowing they'll face a confident, battle-tested team that expects to win. That psychological shift might be the most important change of all. The environment will be completely different from anything we've seen before. In the past, Ohio State fans often turned Indiana's stadium into a second home. Red jerseys flooded the stands, and the crowd noise leaned heavily in favor of the visitors. That era is over. Bloomington is expected to be rocking, packed with Hoosier fans who now believe they can beat anyone, anywhere. The championship banners changed the culture overnight. Season tickets are selling faster than ever, and this game will likely be the most electric atmosphere Indiana football has ever experienced. For Ohio State, that's a new kind of challenge. The Buckeyes are used to hostile environments, but this one will carry a different energy, one fueled by belief, pride, and a program that finally knows what it feels like to sit at the top. Another layer of intrigue is the personnel turnover on both sides. Indiana will be breaking in a new quarterback after losing their championship signal caller, which adds uncertainty but also excitement. We'll find out quickly whether the system or the star was the real engine behind the Hoosiers' rise. Ohio State, meanwhile, will also be fine-tuning its roster, blending elite recruits with experienced leaders. By mid-October, both coaching staffs will have enough film, enough reps, and enough confidence to open up the playbook. There will be no hiding, no experimenting, just raw competition between two teams that believe they deserve the playoff spotlight. Analysts are already debating whether Indiana or Iowa will be Ohio State's toughest road test, and that alone tells you how much this matchup has evolved. The fact that Indiana is even in that conversation is proof of how dramatically the landscape has changed. The Hoosiers are no longer the team you overlook. They are the team you prepare for all week. They are the team you circle on the calendar. They are the team that can end your season if you're not careful. And that's exactly why Ohio State will treat this game like a playoff matchup. The Buckeyes know that walking out of Bloomington with a win could define their season. A loss, on the other hand, could change the entire playoff picture before Halloween. The stakes couldn't be higher. This game also represents something bigger than just two teams, it represents the new era of college football. The transfer portal, coaching continuity, and player development have all combined to create a sport where power can shift faster than ever before. Indiana is living proof. Their rise didn't take decades, it took one perfect storm of recruiting, culture, and belief. Now they stand toe-to-toe with Ohio State, not as an underdog story, but as a defending champion with expectations of its own. That's what makes this matchup so compelling. It's not just about whether Ohio State can win on the road. It's about whether Indiana can prove their championship wasn't lightning in a bottle. It's about whether the Big Ten's balance of power is permanently changing. And it's about whether college football fans are witnessing the birth of a brand new rivalry that nobody saw coming. When the lights turn on in Bloomington on October 17th, the whole country will be watching. Cameras will capture the crowd, the emotion, the nerves, and the energy. Analysts will call it a playoff preview. Fans will call it must-watch TV. And players will feel the weight of history on every snap. Ohio State versus Indiana used to be predictable. Now it's unpredictable, intense, and absolutely unmissable. That's how fast college football can change, and that's why this game has become the Big Ten's hottest ticket.